So, Mark 6 belts, brand new machines, a new power source, and tons of new recipes have just been revealed the brand new Satisfactory 1.0 trailer, and it gives us yet another fantastic insight into what the new update contains. But before we get into that, a massive thank you to everyone that has subscribed to the channel in the last 24 hours. You guys are awesome, and I really do appreciate your continued support. But without further ado, let's just get straight into the video. Better place to start off than this. As you remember, this was teased towards the very end of the last trailer, where I said this was a Mark 6 conveyor belt. Some people said it wasn't, but it now has been confirmed 100% this is a Mark 6 conveyor belt. Also, everyone say hello to Snart, because we'll be seeing him a lot throughout this trailer, since he was the one that made it for Coffee Stain Studios. Hey Snart. And here it is in action, and wow, this thing moves rapid. If you didn't know before, with the Mark 5 conveyor belts, you could transport 720 resources per minute. But now that it increases to 1,200 resources per minute, which sounds great, but how does that actually look in practice? Well, here we can see it goes into 40 smelters. Yes, 40 smelters just from one pure Mark 3 node because of this brand new conveyor belt system. And here's another closer look at it, and I think it's probably the best conveyor belt we've got yet. And look how rapid, by the way, the resources go into this container are. Like, in just a second, it goes up by about 20, which is wild. Here is a quick sneak peek of the brand new Mark 6 lift. I think it looks absolutely incredible, and you know what? It's probably my favorite lift that they've ever added into the game. It's quite a chunky one, but sometimes in life, the chunkier the better. But that is not all that they've teased. As you can see, we now have some more information about this octagon machine, which is now confirmed to be called a converter. And what does it do exactly? What doesn't it do is probably the easiest way to answer that question. And here is a much better look at everything in action. As you can see, we've got our iron ingots, deuterium ingots, as well as aluminium ingots combined with this strange alien metal, which produces bronze ingots, where we'll get a much better POV a little bit later on. And I will be breaking down this trailer even further, by the way, so make sure you are subscribed if you are excited for 1.0, because there's a lot in this trailer that I'll be talking about over the weekends that you're not going to want to miss. Thank you for any support shown to the channel. Moving swiftly on, we can finally get another small glimpse at this object right here. This is called Fixite Trigon. Again, Fixite Trigon, and it's produced from Fixite ingots, which, you know what I used to always call bronze ingots? Now we know that bronze is actually Fixite, and again, it produces this. This is a Mark 1 conveyor belt, and we can see that this is roughly 30 Fixite Trigons per minute being produced from here. So the conversion rate actually seems really decent, which is great, because as Snut explains a bit more in the trailer, we are going to need these for a lot of things. So be prepared to be placing down a lot of these conversions, or converters, because again, we're going to need a lot of these. The conversion machine also produces this, and this is called a time crystal, and finally something I was actually correct about. With the time crystals, you produce this just from diamonds. You don't need to combine anything else. And luckily, yes, it is just made from diamonds, because as you can see here, we've got two solid inputs, one solid output, and one liquid or gas output. Except it's not a liquid or a gas, as I'll talk about in just a minute. So it's fantastic to see that you only need diamonds to make the time crystals, which is dope. And again, to make diamonds, you need 600 core per minute as an input, as you can see coming in through here. And that's it. You only need core to make diamonds. And yes, diamonds is the official name for the product, by the way. So congrats to the community for getting that one right. Moving on, we have to talk about the quantum encoder. First of all, this machine looks absolutely incredible. I think almost everything this update looks absolutely incredible. But we can see it has got one exit for solids and one exit for liquids, although in the last couple of trailers we did kind of already know that. So the quantum encoder produces a lot of stuff late game, so don't worry too much about placing this down early game or mid game. This is mostly late game stuff, as you can see by one of the resources coming out of here, which is a supercomputer that's been redesigned. You also get another close snippet of this brand new liquid. We can also see that the time crystal goes into this, as well as our Fixite Trigon. So we actually managed to get this recipe correct, which is quite nice. So despite this looking like the quantum computer that we already have in the game, it is not a quantum computer. This is a supercomputer. That then produces this, which is called a neuro-quantum processor. This is not called a quantum computer. It would have been a shame if I just released a video a couple hours ago where I called this a quantum computer. Anyway, something else that we can notice is that this liquid, which we'll talk about in just a minute again, is automatically produced as a byproduct from anything that you make in this machine, from what it looks like at least. No matter what you make in here, it's automatically going to produce this liquid, which might sound like it sucks, but it's actually quite important. This thing is called dark matter residue. Remember that? Because we'll be talking about it in just a minute. Do you guys remember that liquid that comes out of the converter? Well, this thing right here is called the excited photonic matter. Again, excited photonic matter, and it's automatically made as a byproduct in this machine, which again, might sound like it sucks, but it's very important. And this, as well as the dark matter residue, are not a gas, and it's not a liquid. It's something brand new. It's not a gas, and again, it's not a liquid. So one thing that the dark matter residue produces is this. It's called the dark matter crystal, which I suppose makes sense because it's produced from dark matter. And you also need to combine this with diamonds, which I feel like is quite an easy recipe, although I'm probably going to regret saying that sentence when I play update 1 in a couple days, or in a few days. But there you go, now we know what this thing is called, which is fantastic. Please take note, by the way, you cannot package dark matter residue. You cannot package this thing. You can't just put it into some plastic then sink it. This is unsinkable, so make sure that you have got enough things being produced from this, otherwise it will back up your entire line, which of course will suck. And of course, we need to talk a little bit more about this bad boy. This is confirmed to be a brand new space elevator part called the AI Expansion Server, and I will have a recipe out for this within the next week, so stay tuned for that. And that's because they've actually changed a few things about the recipe, so it's actually quite important to note. Also, as a lot of you know, you can now produce a synthetic power shard. Power slugs aren't going from the game, but you can now make power shards from the quantum encoder, which is really dope. I've already got a recipe set up that I revealed in my last video, so please go watch that if you want to see how to make this thing. But if you don't want to see it, here's another quick look. But we cannot end this video without talking about something called Fixonium, which is this brand new part you can now produce in the particle accelerator. And again, this is now confirmed. You do have to combine it with a few other things as well, but overall it doesn't seem that difficult to make. Do you remember these metal nuclear balls we were talking about in yesterday's video? And again, this confirms the recipe for it. So again, we managed to get that bang on, which is something else we were able to predict, which was correct, which is dope. So when you combine a few of these parts right here, you produce this, which has some positives and negatives. One of the positives is that it doesn't produce any waste. So, if you've got a bunch of plutonium waste all built up, craft it into this thing, because that's the best way to get rid of your plutonium waste. The only bad thing about it is that it's the worst rod in the game, and it doesn't produce as much power as the other two rods. But again, it's still a decent way to sink all of your plutonium. Not sink it, use it into power. Lastly, at the very end of the trailer, we got a quick tease about Sommersloop and lasers. We don't know exactly what this is, or what machine this is from. I mean, on one hand, it looks like the space elevator, but then you have this, and then you have that. I don't know what this could be, but either way, it's pretty cool, and I'm sure we'll get a bit more information in the coming days. That will just about do it for today, but expect another video of mine to come out within the next couple of days, breaking down these recipes even more. Also, I'll probably stream this as well, so make sure you guys, again, are subscribed if you're interested in anything to do with this. Either way, thank you very much for watching, have an amazing rest of your day, and remember, Godspeed.